Okay, so we are in the account tab. Here it is a tabular view. So there are lists. These lists can show me the table results, and I can manipulate this table to put new fields, right? Select fields to display. I can add new fields in this object. I can add other fields values which is missing, like billing city. I can bring this or change the order of that, remove fields from here, save it. Where are we seeing all the fields? Where are we creating all fields? We are creating all fields in the setup. In the setup in object manager, I see all the fields, right? In the account object, I see all the fields and relationships, right? All these fields are here. Whatever I create here, new ones, or that is standard, which is Salesforce giving us, all is showing up as this, and every record is showing up. So there is 13 records. So in Salesforce, this is basically the data. But as an administrator, when you're working on data, we work behind the scenes also. So we work on large amount of data at the same time. One of the tools we can use is this one, workbench.developerforce. This is a third-party tool, not developed by Salesforce, but this is a very good browser-based tool which can be very quick to use. There can be other tools also. If you go to Salesforce, go to Home and search for data loader. This is also a tool which Salesforce gives out of box. This needs to be installed on your machine. There are many versions. Download a data loader for Mac. I have the Mac machine, so I can download this. If you have a Windows machine, you can download this. So based on which versions you have, this is the installer. So this is a thick client, and this is a browser-based tool. So
sir, in Windows 7, will that Windows part work?
Yeah, it will work everywhere. Yes, no problem. Yeah. So you can, this is a very small exe file only. So that will basically, you can double click on that, and it will ask for a login and password. So what happens is that the login and password, how to generate that login and password. What you can do is that you can go to users. This is when you are launching from Trailhead, of course, you are already logging in using this some credentials. So what you can do is that you can create a new user, put all the details. No need to select the role. You can select the Salesforce user license, and the profile is system administrator. Okay. And you select save. Whenever you do that, immediately you can use it other email ID, or the same email ID is fine, but the username should be very different. So when you create that username, which will be like a username dot something, your org, you can name your org anything. So it's like my email ID is avi.silverlord@gmail.com. So user ID, you generally automatically takes it, but you can add something else here, like batch 11, something of that sort, right? And you can put your first name, last name, that will auto generate your alias and so on. And that's it. All you need that, and you save it. When you do that, it will send the email ID to your machine, and you can set your password. Whenever you do that, it also creates a token for you, security token. So when you are logging into a data loader, you have to use the login, which you have created for yourself, the password, which you will set up in your mailbox. Third is, it will also generate a security token for you. That security token you would be adding to the password, and then you can only log in. Not you just user ID password will not work in a data loader. Okay, but no such problems here. Here, if you are having the Salesforce open in this window, you go to Workbench and log into Salesforce. It will not ask you user ID password because it is taking the session. All you have to do is just allow, and that's it. You're in. Yeah, so this is the benefit which I get. I do not need to remember my user ID and password. Yeah, so these benefits are there. So what we'll do is that you see there are multiple tabs on the top. Here there is a query, and query is a Soql. What is Soql? So is Soql. Those who have already worked with a query language like SQL, no, it is exactly the same. It's a query language. You don't need to learn another new language from scratch. Nothing to do here. This tool itself will generate the query for you. You have to just learn the basics. So what is that? So when you go to SQL query, or by default, when you open, it is basically on that screen itself. So you can do to SQL query the same thing. All the functions are available here. You don't need to use any of this tab. You can do everything here also. So if I go to SQL query and I go to account object, you see, this is the account object, and do a select. It will open this window for us, right? Yeah. So what happened? When you do this, you will see it will show the object and all the fields here on that object. This is exactly the replica of your object manager, this view. All the fields here. This field name, what you see, not the field label. All the field names, that is the API name, as we say, these are all listed here. Okay. So what you can do is the count function is there. So if you do a query, you will see it will say the query will return 13 records. And you see in this, I am seeing 13 records, right? If I create a new account, I go and run this query once again, 14 accounts. Same here. $14 accounts, right? So this is the benefit of looking at this data model from behind the scenes.
So,
Let's
Animesh, one question I have.
Yeah.
Here, the query that you did was on count, right?
account. Oh,
Count.
no. Count is the function which I'm running on that query.
Okay. Okay. We can choose any other function also?
There is only one function, that is the count.
Okay.
No other functions are there. So select count from account. This is the basic query wherein you can count the number of records which is there. So this SQL you can type here also by your hand like this, if you know the language. But if you do not know the language, it does not matter. So you can do like this also. So then we will also fire, right? If I change this to contact and do firing, I can also do that. That's not a problem. It is returning 20 records because now it is firing on contact object. So this part on the top automatically generates the query for us. So you don't have to learn the language. Okay. So benefit of that is that when I am clicking this, any of this, you see, the query is getting generated automatically. Now I can choose the number of fields to show. It is the same thing. Query is fetching the records. Okay. So how? What is the default fields I need? Let's choose ID. Let's choose name. I will use the control key or in Mac machine command key to select multiple fields. ID, name from account. Now let's do a query. See, here what happened? Here this, all the accounts were there. Did I see the record ID? The record ID was what getting showed on the top, but I was not able to see this here, right? Can I get this? Let's see. Do I have anything like that? Nothing, right? No ID field, right? It's not
Yes,
there
sir.
because it is not needed for any people in the UI, right? But this is the backend field, which is very much required for a system administrator to understand. So what will happen is that I can create a new field also. If you really want to show that to end user, that is also possible. You have to go there and you have to select a formula field. Do a next and you say ID. And what you do, you do a text. And here in the account, there is nothing called ID in this list, but you can type ID. If you type ID and do next, go to account, and now you can go and select fields to display. Here you will get an ID field. Let's add this ID field now, and let me bring this on top. Let's remove everything else so that we are not getting distracted. Same view, right? This one and this one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we are seeing back behind the scenes. That is also you are possible to see that inside application also. But you have to do some tricks to see that. But anyway, so here what you can do is now is that not only see this record, but to export that data also. So when we do that, Salesforce only deals data upload and exporting via one file format, which is called a .csv. CSV means comma separated values. What is that? We'll go into that details. So here it is called bulk CSV. I will shift to this from list to bulk CSV and do a query. Now this is the download button, download computer batch results. When I click on this, it will download a CSV file. You see .csv file, and I can open this file in Notepad. I can also open this file in Excel sheet like this. So I can go and open with Excel sheet. Let's see how it looks like. See, simple, isn't it? So this table basically becomes my account table, isn't it? I can go and save this file and change this to normal Excel. And probably name it data, Salesforce data. Yeah. When I do a Excel form, I can have multiple sheets. In CSV, you can only have one sheet. Similarly, what I can do, I can go and do a query for contact object. What I need? The ID field, the last name, first name, and account ID, right? I need a relationship also. Here's the account ID. Can I bring this forward? Of course I can. And I can bring this at the last. Of course I can. This is a query. You see 20 records now, and first name, last name, and the account ID. So this is basically the ID, record ID of the account. And this is the record ID of the contact. Can I
Sir,
download this? Sorry, go ahead.
Sir, I have one question. Sir,
Yes.
how have you shifted the account ID like simple cut paste?
Cut paste, ekdam.
Okay.
Now I am downloading this as a CSV file. Again, if I download, a new CSV file downloads. I open this, still downloading. See, you can open in Notepad, it will look like this. So don't worry about it. Yeah. So this is the new file, right? What I can do is that I can copy this one whole record and I can go to this sheet, copy paste this one. And rename this to contact. Super easy, right? So I am creating Excel sheet called data Excel sheet, Salesforce data, and where I'm storing the values from different tables into this one, right? Quite similar to Excel sheet working, isn't it? So here, if you see this contact, can I see what is repeating? So if I do a conditional formatting for no, let's see, these three values are same, these two values are same, right? So what have you ever worked with lookups?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, correct. So if I help me out on lookup,
Equals to VLOOKUP,
VLOOKUP,
comma, the common field that is, I think, IDA.
yes.
You need to select
No,
that.
I am trying to look up this one
Okay.
with this table. How can I do that?
Okay. So you need to click on D2 cell,
Yes.
comma. Now you need to go to the other sheet. So you need to select this entire table,
Right.
comma. Comma. That is the second column number, right?
That's correct.
Comma, comma, 0. Yeah, that is also.
That's fine.
Yeah.
See, edge communication is coming. If I do this, some problem here.
I think maybe because the format is saved as general. So sometimes in general
Yes.
format.
And another problem is that for doing a lookup, you have to arrange this into alphabetical order. Otherwise, it does not work. Anyway, so the funda is just like in Excel sheet, the lookup works. The similar way in exactly in Salesforce, this is the lookup field, basically to this field. Right. So what is happening is that when I'm going and selecting this and searching in this table, I am this ID belongs to edge communication, and exactly that is getting pasted here. Right? Instead of again copying pasting the all account fields, I just store the ID here. Anyway, so this is not the point. The point is this is a retrieve operation, right? In table, what are the 4 operations that we can do? Tell me.
Calculation.
Now, in any table or any object, in table is an object in Salesforce, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
table, what are the 4 operations is possible?
Create,
Read, edit, print. We call this CRAD operation or CRAD operation. Any table, you can do all these 4 operations in any table. What did we do right now? Here, when I get and did a query, which operation am I doing?
read.
Read, absolutely. So the basic operation is read, so that you can see the records. Other operations are all dependent on read operation. If you cannot see the record, you cannot do any other operations, right? So it is very vital. Read is the basic operation on any table. Okay, so let's go and go back to this read operation. We saw how to do this using query, how from workbench, how, and from UI. So from workbench, what is this operation? It's a query. From UI, maybe the list or the record detail, right? Both, isn't it? Same thing, CRUD operations. Now, what if I want to create records in bulk, not one record? In UI, what can I do? Always I will have to go here, hit a new, and one record I am creating at one time. What if I want to create 20 records at one time? 20 accounts at one shot.
Can upload the data.
Yes. How do I do that? How to create the data first, right? Uploading comes next. This is a tool which shows data, which can also upload data. Here, these are the query we were talking about. Now we will go to these operations. This is insert, update, upsert, delete, undelete, purge. We will see all these operations. What does it mean? Let's talk about insert first. But before that, I have to create a data for it. So I will use a shell. Again, Salesforce only can use CSV files. Do we have any CSV file? Yes, we downloaded some, right? Let's create account record. So if I go and open this CSV once again.
Can we format a Excel also in a CSV? Excel and CSV, what is the major difference?
Excel can allow multiple sheets. CSV does not allow multiple sheets.
Oh, okay.
Excel has formattings. CSV does not have formattings. CSV is a comma separated value. So if you open this with probably, I don't know, edit text. Yes, this is how it is. It will look like. It is back in behind the scene. The CSV is a comma separated value. This is how it is getting saved.
Okay. Yeah, we can convert this into Excel by doing,
you can open this in Excel. Yes.
Yeah.
But between all that data, it is just a comma sign. You can have semicolon separated CSVs also. CSV can be of many types. But in Salesforce, we use only comma separated CSVs. Okay. In Excel, if you open any Excel sheet, so we created a Salesforce data, right? This one. If I open this, there are two sheets here, right? If I go and select account and I go to file and save as, and I change this to account, and I change this to, you see, comma delimited, right? There can be other forms of CSVs also. You see, comma separated, and there is another. This is MS-DOS comma separated. Then there is a semicolon, a Macintosh comma separated. There are different formats. Okay, so let's go to normal CSVs. And I am naming this as account. Whenever I do that, you will see the contact sheet gets dropped. Yeah, if I close it and I go and click the account CSV now, you see the contact sheet is not there. It will only save one sheet. Okay. Now, this is the CSV I can use. I want to create new accounts, right? So what is the basic information I have to give here? I need to give names for accounts, right? I don't need these. Do I need an ID field? I create 10 accounts. Do I need an ID field while creating accounts?
I think ID will be auto-generated when we upload. Is it correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. ID is created by Salesforce, so we cannot put any value in the ID field. Neither you can map the ID field itself. So let's go and do an insert. I already have a CSV file. I change my object to account. Choose file. I have the account CSV. Next. Now it will try to map. You see, 10 rows are there. It is trying to map the column headers of your Excel with the field values of Salesforce. If the header name and the field value is exactly same, then it will be automatically mapping it. Like name, same name is there in Excel, so Salesforce has automatically mapped it. If you find any other columns, it will not be able to map it. So I have only one column to map. There is no ID column because to map because ID is generated by Salesforce. So I do a map fields and I confirm insert. You see, 10 records has been created. What happens here? I go here, do a refresh. See, 24 records, 14 were there, and this 10 accounts got created. What I am seeing
Instead of going to, sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
Instead of going to Workbench, can we directly also upload into Salesforce?
Yes, Salesforce also has an importer tool. So if you go to here and use as a data import, you can data import wizard. You can do the same here.
Then what is the use of a Workbench?
Workbench gives you more control. That's it. Here you can only import records, but Workbench here you can do edit, delete, of many operations. You can do that. This is very crude mechanism just to import records. That's it.
Okay.
Even more sophisticated tool is data loader. Yeah. So Workbench is quite close to it, but is easier to use. Okay. And there are some browser related problems. Let's see how to do this from here. Okay. Let's go to account. What I will go and do before that, I will go to my sheet once again. Open this sheet once again. Here I will start now from 11 and save it. Now let's go back to this and I choose the file now. Do next. The same, right? The ID field is not mapped and this name field needs to be changed. So I will change it and I will change it to account name. App. Next. Start import. Let's go to account. Let's do account. 34. And let's see, is this view result? No failed record processed. Okay. So let's go to all accounts. 24 was here. I do a refresh. Now it has 34 records. So 11, 12, 13, 14, these accounts also got created. So import wizard, Workbench, both doing the same thing. Is it clear now? So yes, I can work now. How will I import records to contacts? Let's create a contact file now. This is the Salesforce data. I am on the contact. Or maybe it is an easier way to rename this CSV to contact. Open it using Excel sheet. Again, creation. I don't need this ID, right? What would be the account ID? I can choose, right, which account I want to click. So let's see. There are 10 records. Let's choose 2 accounts. Yeah. So I have my account record. Sorry about it. I have this account ID. And let's select the name also. And do a query. Let's create 10 contacts each for 2 accounts. Yeah. One for contact 18, one for account 19. So let's copy this one, this ID, Control C. Sorry about it. Control C. Go to Excel. And I will copy this to 10 fields. And I will go back and choose the second ID, Control C, and paste it. The account 18 and 19, I am having 10 records each. 10 records each, right? Clear? I'm saving this. Now I'm going back. So you are seeing this, how I'm preparing a file. I am populating the fields I want to populate, basic fields. And this is the relationship field, which I have to populate from data, from account table. Going back, going to insert, selecting contact this time. Choose file, contact CSV. Next. Now you see account ID is automatically mapped to map first name to this, last name to this. You can choose to change this also if you want. I map fields, confirm insert. 20 records gets created. If I go to contacts, I can see all these 20 records now. Yeah, you see account 18 has this 10, account 19 has the rest, 10 more. Clear? How to create relation to
One
those?
second. Why it came as first name 11, last name 12?
Where?
Yeah, here.
This one?
First name.
Because
Yeah.
in the Excel sheet I have created this way.
Okay.
Because sorry, it was, I should have started with 1. So this is a good question. How to fix this problem? It should be first name 1, right?
Yeah.
Last name 1. I made some mistake. This should be the case, right? How do I fix it? Let me try to fix this. Let's go to query once again. Go to contact. Again, ID, I will download. First name, last name. I don't need the account, nothing to change there, right? So this is the whole list. Let me download this once again. I'm querying this. Is a new file. Let me rename this. Contact fix. Right? That is my intention. How to fix the problems on that contacts. Right? These records, do I need to update this? I don't need, right? These I need to update, right? I can bring ID in the front for us to understand this. And this should be last name 1, isn't it? So this should be properly fixed, isn't it? Save it. So these are the record IDs where last name needs to be fixed. I change the last name. How do I do that? This is the second update. I am going to the contact record. I'm choosing contact fix. Open. Next. This time ID is very important. I have to tell which records I want to fix. ID field is already there. It is populated with values. First time is already there. I am putting these values, but it's not getting updated. But I'm not changing anything, but that field is there. But here the real updation is happening, the last name, which is also a mandatory field. Map. Confirm update. 20 fields updated. Let's go back. This was the list, right? Account 19. Let's see this once again. Yes. Did we update correctly? We did not update correctly. So this has to be fixed also, right? Control S. So now everything is in line. Please note that when you are doing a retrieve, it may not give you the result in the same order. So it is very vital for you to understand that your order is absolutely correct. Otherwise, you'll face problems. Now let us do a confirm update. Fix. Let's go back and do a thing. Now it is all matching up, right? Let's go to contacts. All properly fixed. Right? So we have already seen how update works. So let's go back to our operations once again. Before that, let's finish it off. Then I will talk about the operations. What is Upsert? Let's go back to this contact field. Excel sheet once again. So this is my sheet. On this sheet itself, let's make an easier thing for you to understand. Upsert a little complicated. So let's go to account. Let's download account once again. No, not download. Let's go to contact, bulk CSV, ID, first name, last name, and I will also select the account ID. Let's do a query once again. Downloading this once again. Let's rename this file once again. Contact Upsert. What does this mean? Upsert. I open this Excel sheet. Let's delete the fields which I don't want to update. I delete this. Let's bring account ID up front. Bring the account at the last. Now it is a little easier to understand. So there is ID column, and these are the fields I want to update. Now, probably I want to start from 21. The same contacts I want to update now with the different numbering. Apart from that, probably I want to create a few more. And probably I will use the same account. So these are the new contacts I want to create. And these are the contacts I want to update. For the contacts I have to update, I definitely have to give the account ID. For the contacts I want to create, I do not need ID, right? Salesforce will be generating the ID for me. But both the operations I can do together in Upsert. Upsert means update plus insert. So I will choose now contact, do next, map fields, confirm Upsert. So you see, these are updated and these are created. So Salesforce will decide whether to insert the record or update the record based on if you have provided the ID or not. If you go to the account, show the contact. It is already creating 41, 42, and it is 50. These records are already created. And others are updated. You see, it started from 21 onwards. Clear? So we saw insert, we saw update, we saw upsert. Can I delete? Of course I can. I can delete in bulk? Of course I can. Again, what is the delete operation needs? Only the record ID. That's it. No other values are required. Most of these operation will start from a query. Right? Let's go to contact again. This time, to identify the contact, I will keep these two values and do a query. Again downloading, go to file, rename it. Contact delete CSV. I go to delete operation, choose this file. Not everything I want to delete, right? So I will go to this operation, open this file in a Excel sheet, which I don't want to delete. Maybe this. Let's keep that. And anything else which I want to delete, that record ID must be there. I don't need this last name and first name, not required, but I can keep it just for my own benefit so that I understand which records I am trying to delete. You see, and I can do contact delete next. And you see, it is only mapping the ID field. Nothing else is needed for Salesforce. You can do a permanent delete. That means what happens? I will show that right now. Confirm delete. I'm not doing a permanent delete. So these records are deleted. What happens then? If you go to Salesforce, those records are gone. You cannot see this. If you go to Workbench, do a query, and do a connect to query has gone down. Sorry about it. 20 records now. Back. What happened to first name, last name? Let's see which records are there. So you see, all those first name, last name, new contacts which I created, all are gone. Right? So I have deleted data in bulk now. But I did not do any permanent delete. What does that mean? That means these records which got deleted are not permanently deleted from Salesforce. These are put in Salesforce recycle bin. Just like in your desktop, you have a recycle bin like this, wherein you can delete your files and keep it for some days and then restore it back. Exactly same thing. In Salesforce also, there is a recycle bin, which keeps 15 days your file, your record data. You can restore it back. That means if you go to undelete and choose the same file which just you used for deletion and map fields and confirm undelete, you see it's undeleted. That means you go and refresh this page, these records are back from recycle bin. But had you chosen permanent delete, this operation would not happen. I will show this right away. So I will do this delete once again. But this time, I will not do a permanent delete. I will do another step. Map fields, confirm delete. And then I will go another step that is called purge. You can use in the delete itself, you can do permanent delete, or in purge, if you do a contact delete, that happens is that it makes a hard delete from your recycle bin. Purge will only work on deleted records, not on normal records. Clear? Already deleted records that should be in recycle bin. Confirm purge. That means purged from recycle bin. When you do that, you go and undelete now. Try to undelete this.
Amit, you need to switch off your camera, please.
You can. This will be the problem. It will say the entity is not in recycle bin. Okay. So once it is removed from recycle bin, you cannot do an undelete. So these are the operations which you can do on workbench, and these are bulk data operations which you have to do as an admin. You have to work on data, and you will be working on data. What would be a situation wherein you have to work in the bulk data? Maybe when you are moving one CRM to another CRM, probably the old CRM is Sql, and customer wants to start using Salesforce. So all this old data has to be brought into Salesforce. Right? At that point, you would be required for you to upload the data. Now, what I see in this relationship part is quite complicated, right? When I creating the contact, again, I have to go and like find out this record ID of account and that put it in my value, and then I have to delete things. Very complicated stuff, right? Can I make it simple? Yes, Salesforce allows you to make it simpler. Let's see that. I will go to account now, and this is only relevant for relationships. Here, I create a text field. My field name is called my ID. Length 255 characters. This time, I'm putting external ID as ticked. What is external ID? We'll see this. Now I have to load account and contact once again, but this time let's see how different will external ID make my life easier or not. Here, let's see that I am loading now account and contact from scratch. Let's see that. Before that, let's do a little more cleanup so that it's easier for us to understand. We go and move to pin. So let's go one by one. Let's go to account data. Let's delete everything. Let's delete everything. Let's work with fresh data. Yeah, this is my sheet. I work from scratch. So here I am creating some new accounts. For creating new accounts, I don't need the ID. Let me remove that. Let me create some accounts. External test accounts. And let me create 10 accounts like this. Right? Save it. Here I have created a my ID. Let me put my own value here. 100, 200. I put my own identifier here. I'm not bothered about what Salesforce is generating for me, right? I don't care. I go to here. This time I also don't need the ID. Delete it. I have first name 1, 2. No, first name not. External ID EID1, EIDF1, EIDF, EIDL, EIDL1. And let's have 10 more accounts, contacts I create. This time 5 accounts for this account. And 5 for this account. Fine. Simpler, right? No 13 characters, 14 characters, 18 characters, nothing in this. I have my own IDs and I have associated my contacts with my own IDs, right? Will this work? Let's see how we can make it work. So I go to file, save as, or I don't do save as. Let's go and right click on this and you say move or copy, create a copy, go to new workbook, okay, and save this workbook as account new, and I save it as CSV, right? Same thing, I go to contact, right click, move or copy, create a copy, new workbook, okay, and save as contact new and choose it as CSV. Save it. Done. 2 CSVs created. I don't have any Salesforce ID here at all. Can I use it here? Let's see. First, I have to insert my accounts. I am doing a like migration from my old Sql into Salesforce. So Sql has its own IDs. Maybe those IDs are Sql IDs. From account, I choose and create new accounts. Next, what will I do? The name field. And what field I have to choose? My ID is there, right? Where is the my ID? Okay, sorry. I have to rejoin this. because every time there is a new field created, I have to log back to Workbench so that the new field is available to me. It will not automatically pick up. Okay, please remember that. So I will go back, choose my object as account, choose my file as account new. Next. Now can I see my ID? Yes, it is there. Why underscore underscore C? Because I have put my, this is a new custom field. Name field I will map to name. Right? Map fields. These are the two fields I need. Confirm insert. 10 records are created. Right? Let's go back and find it out. Let's go to all accounts. Yes, I can see my new accounts are created, right? Is external ID 1, 2, external ID test 2. So 1 and 2 will have new contacts. So now let's go to insert of contacts. Without the Salesforce ID, how will I do the connection? That is very important, right? Choose the file. This time the contact new. No Salesforce ID is there. I'm using my own ID. So it is account ID is there. Last time is there. If I do a map field, will this work? Salesforce is throwing an error. That malformed ID. Your ID is not recognized in Salesforce. I will not allow you to use it, right? Because it is expecting a Salesforce ID in that lookup field. Whatever you give to Salesforce is not acceptable to Salesforce, isn't it? So how to use it now? I go to contact once again. Go to next. Same last field and not this time. Instead of that, I use this one called smart lookup. And I choose my ID field. What does this tell Salesforce? This is telling Salesforce that please replace the values of whatever I am giving you by the record IDs, which is there in Salesforce. So I am giving you a proxy. Which field value I am providing? I am providing account.myID field values. From this, you extract what is the record ID and you put it here and map it. So Salesforce is following a two-step process. It is seeing that value and it is understanding that I am not providing account ID values. I am providing my ID values from which I have to extract the account IDs and put it here. And then I map it and confirm insert. Bingo, it works. So if I go now and do a refresh and go to contacts, you see all these contacts are created. So how simple it has become, right? No complications at all, just a one-step process. I have completely eliminated the usage of Salesforce ID, which makes my life easier, makes my data loading so much easier. I am using my own ID to make all relationships. I don't even have to go back to Salesforce, do a extraction, find what is the record ID, put it on the column at all. Nothing. No jobs required at all. Purely I'm working with my own IDs. And it can be IDs of your old system. So much easier, right? That is the usage of external IDs. So external IDs give you an option to do a smart lookup. Salesforce will automatically replace that with exact record IDs so that you don't have to worry about it. Clear, guys? Any problem?
No, sir.
Yeah. High voltage stuff. Lot to practice. So
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this was heavy stuff.
this was heavy stuff.
Especially this was not in trade.
True. Yeah, there is spread across many things. So yeah, that's fine. So no problem. That is where we are. But when we are talking about data upload, data work, you also need to you need to learn about external IDs also, how to use external IDs to make your life easier. So always try to use external IDs when you have a relationships or a lot of data you have to upload, which is related to relationships. In that case, external ID should come in handy. Don't use Salesforce IDs. Use external IDs, your own IDs. That will make life easier for you. Okay. Thanks for the day. I think a lot of information has been passed on. It's time for you to have some hand practice for this.
Yes, sir.
Any
Yes.
questions? Otherwise, we'll close the session for today, and you can have a very nice weekend.
Yeah, I
Sir,
think we will
is
have to
this
watch this in loop
we
today.
have we have already used data export wizard in the prelude,
That is
but
fine.
we haven't used it.
Yeah, data export user wizard. That is basically exporting the data. Import wizard is just importing data.
Yeah.
A tool like this, like Workbench or a data loader, try data loader also, right? Install data loader on your machine. Try to use that also. It is more sophisticated than Workbench also. Yeah. So you can do everything there. So here today we have introduced 3 things to you. One is query language, very easy, right? Here in query language also, in SQL query, you can create filters also. Like if you want to see the first name, last name, of anything like account ID is something like this account, GenPoint account, right? So if you want to use the account ID of GenPoint account only in the Workbench, if you go and just choose this, you see this where clause starts getting created. Where? So where account ID is equal to this. If you do a query, it will only show you the records. So there can be many filterings which you can have. There are a lot of things you can do here. So here, like first name, in first name, you can say that first name like yeah, first name maybe contains or starts with first name starts with external ID, right? EID we tested, right? Wait. Sorry, what was that? EIDL. EIDL. You can remove this also. Just let me check once again. Oh, last name. Okay, that's fine. So it was last. So if I say EID, it will only list me these kind of records. See, it is called like. It can be contents also. Yeah, same thing. So there are many things which you can do to get values which you want to work with. Query language is very sophisticated, and you can play around this. Put some queries here. Just drag and drop here, and it will generate the query for you. And
Sir, what is the difference between content and like?
contents means you see this star marks is a wildcard.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
go to contents, if this last name has EID inside it, I will give you an example. So you see this one. So these are the results I'm getting from ID, right? Any last name which has ID inside it, right? But if I do this starts with, instead of this, I do a start with ID, will that work? No results, right? Because it starts with EID. So
Yes, sir.
look at this, like IDs wildcard. But when you make it contains, then there is a wildcard on the first also. That is why EID is coming into that list. Because this wildcard is basically substituting that with anything before that.
Okay, that means, sir, with EI, that means with contents, we can do anything.
In contents, that is that text, it is anywhere in that whole field, then it will pull.
Yes, yes.
But if it
Got it.
starts with, then it has to start with that itself. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay. Many
Yes,
things
sir.
you can do with the query language. Play around with this, no problem. Quite powerful tool. This will help you later in creating reports. Yeah, but not query language. But quite similar to that. This filtering logic you have to use in reports and dashboard also. So play around, learn about it. And of course, this would be important for you to work on data. And it is very simple, very, very simple.
Sir, from now onwards, that means we will be doing with the external IDs only.
Nothing called now onwards. I am suggesting that external ID is a better way of working with relationship. When you are doing
Yes.
uploading, always try to use the external ID for doing this work. It will make your life easier, right? I did
Yes,
not
sir,
even
yes,
have
sir.
to go to Salesforce at all. I don't have to check which parent ID is getting created, right? I choose my own
Yes, sir.
ID and I upload it my way.
Yes, sir. External ID is much easier than the Salesforce ID.
Absolutely, absolutely. Data loader gives you the opportunity to use external ID to update records also. Instead of providing ID, you can use external ID to update records. Play with that. Okay, guys, I think lot of information, but lot of information to play around. So we'll go to darker side next chapter. What will happen is that in this table, there are a lot of records, right? But in the next chapter, we'll discuss who can see what. And that is the dark area of Salesforce. Yeah, that is very important to understand. Who can see what? How can I stop seeing everybody, every record? Okay, guys, no questions further?
No, sir.
Okay, have a nice weekend. I will upload this video to YouTube very soon and send you the link.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot.